The Regents podcast. The Regents podcast. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Regents podcast. My name is Ellyn.
And I'm Aja.
And this week, I have influenced Aja.
Yes.
I've been making videos on my social media. I do all kinds of videos. I do like celebrity videos. I do food videos. I do basically anything that happens in my life. And I've
Right.
recently discovered and been trying flavors of Poppi. And so Aja just said to me right before we hit record, so this is where you find us.
Yes.
I influenced you to try Poppi.
To try Poppi. That is correct. I was at
Clip
the store
it. Send it to
last
Poppi.
night. New brand ambassador right here. Okay.
I'm not even kidding. They did DM me after the first video. I'm
They did?
send me some product.
Listen, she'll try it all day. Okay.
Truly.
And I was in Whole Foods not going for Poppi at all. But found my way there.
Yes.
And I had the Doc Pop. Yes. Have you had that flavor?
No, I haven't had any of the like soda flavors. I've only had like fruit flavors.
Like the fruit ones. Yeah, because I saw like a watermelon lime. And I don't know. I didn't know that Poppi was like a prebiotic type of thing. I had no idea. So I saw that when I was on the, looking at the cans, it's like prebiotic. And I said, oh, okay. But it was good because I love a Dr. Pepper. I don't drink soda.
Yeah.
Love seltzer. But, if I could get a sip of Dr. Pepper every now and again, no problem.
Yeah.
And it was good. I enjoyed it. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I really liked it. So I was like, all right, this is something. If Brandon will drink it, doubt it.
It's like it's definitely not what it is, but
yes, exactly. But if you're a person who maybe is trying to wean off of soda, or sometimes, every once in a blue, you want a soda kick, or it's a cookout in the summertime and you want, your thirst to be quenched like everyone else's with something fizzy.
Yeah.
Go for it by all means. It's sweetened with stevia, like all this stuff. They're not paying me, so I'm not in.
But and not me yet either, but one day.
Not yet, but Ellyn, she's gonna be the one.
That's the one thing I don't like is I don't like stevia, so I can always taste the aftertaste of stevia.
Okay.
But my mom likes stevia, and so she was like, "Oh, it doesn't bother me." And then the orange one was good. Okay. Then I had, what did I have in the video? Oh shoot, what was the second one I had? I picked up strawberry lime. I think I tried
Watermelon lime.
No, strawberry.
Do they all have like lime at the end?
Did I post it? I don't remember what I tried now. I'm like, actually, I don't even remember. But I tried another one this weekend and I forgot to record it because I was at my friend's house. So that's why I like can't remember. But basically, okay, enough. Okay. I've liked all the flavors I've tried. So there's a variety pack basically, and I tried all 3 flavors that are in the variety pack at Costco. So now I can go buy a whole container.
Oh, all right.
So I was like, I'm not going to go buy like a freaking I don't know. It's like a 20 pack of soda, 12 packs of soda, essentially. Yeah. I literally bought I have like ginger ale and Diet Coke in the fridge.
Okay.
Because I have those like little mini cans, the 6 or 7 ounce cans.
Those are so cute.
Yeah. And just like every once in a while, you just and I genuinely, whenever I have anything else to drink in the house, I never drink it. I just drink water. I just drink so much water.
Same.
That I forget to drink other stuff,
Right.
So with this, I was like, I'm not going to buy this whole thing unless I actually like it.
Unless I'm in love.
Yeah. And I don't think I'm I should be buying the size from Costco, but if they have a smaller variety pack at the supermarket, I might pick it up the next time just because it was good.
How many cans are in the Costco thing?
I mean, it's Costco, so it's
huge.
just ridiculous, probably. I got to look. But if I remember correctly, I think it was 24. For me to go through 24 cans of something is a lot.
First of all, where are we putting 24 cans of soda?
In a studio apartment, please.
Yeah, no.
Literally. I mean, I could put it above my count. What are these things called? Shelves?
Cabinets?
Thank you, cabinets. Oh what are these? I don't have 34 years of memories. That's all I can fit. I'm going to have to start deleting stuff. But, like, I could put it
Yeah.
above, but I don't like how I like that it's clean and I just have,
It's
like,
nice and
plants up
clean and
there. Yeah,
white.
it's very
Yeah.
clean. I
Yeah,
know, my whole
same.
thing about this apartment is, like, it's a studio, so I like everything to be, like, kind of very monochromatic. Everything is, like, whites and cream color, and
Yeah.
that way it doesn't disrupt the space. And so
True.
it looks much bigger than what it is. Like, my
Than it
neighbor came in
is.
and she was like, "Wow,
Mhm.
your apartment, like, looks amazing." Like, "Oh my god." And I was like, "I really did a lot of research on, like, how to maximize a small space and also, like, how
Yeah.
to make a small space not feel small."
Right, right.
Because if I had my
Exactly.
druthers, my old apartment, everything was, like, dark wood and, like, dark wall, and I like, that warm, woodsy, more masculine aesthetic, to be honest. But so for
Yeah.
this, I went, like, full, like, coastal without being nautical. So it's
Yeah,
all
I got
white, it's
you.
all
It's
creams,
bright
it's
and
all, like,
airy.
green,
Yeah.
like, plants, very bright, exactly, very bright and airy. I have high ceilings, so that helps,
Yep. Oh,
but
that's great.
everything is very light colored, so
Yeah. Yeah,
I was
that's how
like,
you maximize for sure.
I can't have a colorful like, 24 cans of Poppi popping out somewhere,
Right. Pink
please,
and orange and
unless they paid
that's too
me,
much.
and then I would.
No problem.
I would.
If
I mean,
I
I guess
need to buy storage, I would do
I
so.
could keep them on the balcony.
You could.
'Cause
No.
out here, people, like it's outside storage, like, it's dry here most of the time, so, like, people keep a lot of stuff out
But
on
what
their
about, like,
balconies.
squirrels and
Well, I don't
things?
think they would get into a can. Let
Raccoons?
me tell
No?
you what I just did. I have this
Okay.
squirrel that's, like, attacking my money tree. So I
Oh.
looked online how to stop a squirrel from, like, digging into the dirt, and I put
Uh-huh.
cayenne pepper on the dirt, and
Okay.
it has now
It
stopped. I
helped?
hope that the
Mm.
squirrel is okay, but I actually it's clear I don't care
Meanwhile,
enough.
he doesn't know that the squirrel has keeled over.
I literally was just like, that he's gonna feel like he had
Oh,
Chipotle
man.
tomorrow.
Yeah. Poor squirrel.
Yeah, I mean, he tore
Sorry for
that
the squirrel.
squirrel torments Olive too. Like, they literally have
Oh, I
standoffs on the deck.
remember you told me about that, like
Yeah.
him, and you had to step in
Mhm.
and,
Play
run the thing
bouncer.
away.
My little
Yeah, yeah.
self, please.
What a mess.
Yeah, so I've been doing all those videos. I also do those, like, baking videos from
Mhm.
with the brand Krusties.
Oh, yes,
I
yes, yes.
I thought it was, like, a German name, and it was, like, Krustache or something. It's
Oh gosh.
literally Krusties,
Crusties.
apparently,
It's
which I
very
think we need to have
American.
a conversation about a rebrand with that, but I make a
Mm.
ton of those baking videos, 1, because I like to make breakfast baked goods, but
Yeah.
2, like with the Poppy video, it's, like, important to, like, showcase what you can do online, you
Yes.
know?
Okay.
So, I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
those, and I've been building out my portfolio. I am literally, like, 2 clicks away from my website and my
I
portfolio
was
being
just
done.
going to ask you
Yes.
how is that coming along? Because we were talking about, like, updates and accountability and checking in on the things that we're
Yes, yes,
trying
yes.
to
It looks
implement.
good. It looks clean. I think my
Okay.
one issue is just, um, there like, the last part of it is, like, I'm trying to get, like, really high res visuals from, like, a video, so that kind of is a little bit
Mm.
shysty.
Yeah.
Um, but
Shiesty.
but other than that, like, it looks good. I think the one thing I need to, like, probably hone in on and make a little clearer at the top, so I just wanna, like, rewrite, is,
Mhm.
like, like, user generated, like, UGC and micro influencer content creator. Like, I need to just, like, make it really, really clear at the top as opposed to
Yes.
just, like, Ellen with a
A
Y, because I
brand.
want
Okay.
anyone that, like, lands, yeah, less of, like, a Ellen with a Y brand. Like, we can be that in, like, maybe 6 months or a year, but, like, let's
Yeah.
just get the biz coming in.
Right.
Um, so that's good, and I'm really happy
Okay.
with that, and I feel like I'll be able to, if not put it live this week, at least wanna send it, or maybe put it live, but password protect it, and then I can, like, send it to, like, you and, like, a couple
To
friends
test.
just to get,
Yeah.
like, feedback. I have no issue or qualms with, like, people giving me feedback or be like, "Move this stuff
Right.
around," or whatever.
Of
Um,
course.
so there's that, and then I also had one of the brands, one of the clients I worked with, like, a month or 2 ago, like, a mouth taping brand I think I mentioned
Oh,
before.
yes, you did mention that.
They just hit me up to do more videos together.
Okay.
So I'm
All
very happy about
right.
that.
Ew.
Yeah. And then I do think I'm like inching towards wanting to genuinely relaunch Ellyn with a Y, because I was like talking to someone on Instagram in the F1 world, and I just had so many questions, and I was so interested in like what he does. And like, I wanted to be like, I want to have you on my show. Like, I wanted to say that, and I
You
didn't
wanted to
have
say
I
it.
didn't have a show to invite him on. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, then I think it's
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
Because I really like, I'm genuinely so interested in talking to people and learning about like just different things and their
Yeah.
backgrounds and like where they come from and like how they got into what they got into. And I was basically conducting an interview over DM. And I was
Yeah,
like,
right.
you know what I
He
mean?
would
I was
be
like, and I don't
such a
want this
great
person to like,
contestant.
yeah. And I'm like, I'm genuinely don't want this person to like misconstrue the intention of like, I'm just genuinely so curious. So
Right.
I need to like relaunch my podcast.
Just for
Well,
this.
that's my show, just for the point of like being like, I'm so interested in what you do. And I
Right.
want to talk to you for an hour. And I don't want you to think that this
Just
is
know.
anything other than that.
Yeah.
I
'Cause
don't
I
want
don't
you
care
to
about
be,
anything
yeah,
except
like, don't be creeped out by me. I
what
just
you
have
do.
questions.
Well, that's awesome. That's a telltale sign, you know,
It's time
among
to
many
get,
others.
yeah,
Yes.
it's
That's
time to
awesome.
get
I
back
love
at
it.
it. So that's kind of
Yeah.
where I think that's kind of where I'm at this week. I'm also like really working on creating a calendar. Like, so I told you I've been kind of meeting with my friend who does like
Oh, yes.
long-term positive change coaching
Yeah.
in someone's life.
Mhm.
And so we kind of came to this place where like I need to make a calendar and block my schedule out. And I think we've talked about that here before, like blocking
We
my
have.
calendar and making that make sense. And that's when I'm the most productive and
Mhm.
intentionally busy. And we talked about blocking out my calendar based on like the values that we had identified and the
Okay.
emotions that I want to feel more of and the emotions I don't want to feel more of.
Mhm.
Like I want to feel more like confidence. I want to feel more brave. I want to feel like all this different stuff. So basically talking about matrixing a calendar based on like my core values and the things
Mhm.
I want to the emotions I want to make my like emotional home.
Okay.
So like if
Okay.
I want to feel safety, if I want to feel joy, or my values being like safety, authenticity, and joy, and then what are the things that I do that ladder up to that stuff? So like doing my job, doing the business side of things makes me
Mhm.
safe financially. So
Yeah.
that like is me living my values, right? And then like
Right.
when it comes to confidence or bravery, it's like, okay, what are the things that I do that make me feel those things, right? So stepping out of my comfort zone, trying something different.
Yeah.
Um, so like last week I was totally a mess and flustered, a complete hot mess because my week was thrown off because I had to get out of my apartment for the day. But
Oh,
that wound up,
yes.
yeah, but
Oh
that
my
actually,
gosh.
it wound up being the best thing. I went to San Diego for the day and I like
Yay.
hiked with Olive and went out and
Yeah.
got lunch by the water and I had gelato and I had the
Oh,
best
look
day.
at that.
Yeah, and it turned into what was originally like I was dreading and I was panicking
You were
over.
so anxious about it. Yeah.
And it wound up being the best thing ever, and I was so, so happy, and I'm so glad
Right.
I did it, you know?
Me
So,
too.
like, yeah, so I was just like, I really need to, like, make time in my day, in my week, and in my month
Yes.
to what is giving me confidence, what's making me feel brave, what's making me
Mhm.
feel what's the third one?
Joy?
Um, well, so it's, like, values, and then there's, like, emotional home.
Oh,
Oh, like,
okay. Gotcha.
self-esteem, self-love, so it just I think I'm just trying to like make slow and steady steps forward.
Yeah.
And I think that like the little signs of like, oh, I really wanted to interview this person. Like I didn't want to
Mhm.
just like chat. I wanted to interview him, I set it to auto record. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay,
Maybe it
good.
was me.
I don't know. I set it to auto record. So like every time we come in the studio now, it'll just record.
It just records. Okay.
It'll just start
Cool.
recording, hopefully. Um,
Yeah.
Where were we? We were talking about so basically going to San Diego was a good thing. It wound up being a good thing for
Yeah.
me, and I feel like it like kind of helped keep me motivated. And like
Mhm.
I really only took like off on Sunday to kind of recuperate, and then yesterday was
Yeah.
like I was hit the ground running and was like doing all the things. reset the apartment. I did laundry. I kind of like how you had spoken about in previous weeks about your reset day and like doing the shopping and everything on Monday. I basically did that all like within the house. The apartment, it looks like messy right now, but it's like the after effects of cleaning. So I have like, I'm like drying clothes on my rack and everything. So
okay,
I
got
felt like I
you.
was productive. Today is a makeup on content day. And then I need to like run out and run an errand. So I was like, okay, well, it's good to do after I film so that I like look presentable in the
You're
world.
already
So I'm
I love that.
trying. I'm trying.
You're doing. You're
Thank
doing, and
you.
it's great. It's funny you mentioned that because I was just talking to someone this past week about how I want to basically do what you did, go to San Diego, but I want to go somewhere and just work there. Like
Oh,
for,
cool.
2, 3 days or something, just for like a
Yeah.
change of scenery, different inspiration,
Yeah.
And I had fantasized about that, pre leaving corporate, just like, oh, I'll be able to like literally, work from anywhere aside from obviously
Yeah.
if I have like a performance or something like that. But on some days I can just record content or, do whatever it is that I do from anywhere in the world. My setup is portable.
Yeah.
So I love that you took the day just to kind of be and experience. You had gelato, you by the water or whatever, or the bay,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
And you're so right, because I just in my mind was like, oh yeah, but I didn't work. I like took the day off, but I really didn't because I filmed so much. I recorded
Yeah,
so much and I like
right.
made content out of that trip. So like it wasn't a day off. But it's
Right.
also
But
like
it didn't feel like work.
it doesn't feel like work either because like I'm doing what I like doing. So,
Exactly. That's
you know.
perfect.
Yeah,
I love it.
it was great. I really enjoyed it. So it actually kind of reinvigorated me because I hiked a
Mm.
bunch like over on the cliffs. It's called
Yeah.
Sunset Park Cliffs, right on the
Okay.
water. And I remembered why when I first came out to LA, I liked it. I had gone hiking. And I
Mm.
genuinely, Aja, I kid you not, I have not hiked since I moved here.
Wow.
Remember when you were a kid, they had like the like you can play like the different like megahertz of sound and like at some point you
Oh,
like the
yes.
teacher couldn't hear it anymore
Oh,
because
wait,
their
no.
ears were older. Have you heard of
No.
this?
No.
Yeah, it's where this like high pitched sound like you can go higher and higher and higher
Uh-huh.
and like eventually human ears can't hear it, but over time as you get older,
You can't hear certain
you can't hear as high as you used to.
frequencies.
So
Yeah.
when we were in school, the whole gag was that you would have your text message sound set to the frequency that the teacher couldn't hear.
What?
Yeah, it was like a whole thing.
I've never.
It was a very specific moment in time. It was
A
like
very specific 2 weeks.
yeah, no, seriously, because it was like the technology was changing so quickly when we were
Yeah.
younger, that it
True.
was like then your phone just vibrated. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It was just like it wasn't like a thing. It was just like
Why even do
novel.
that at all, right?
Exactly. Like do you remember there was like an Ask Jeeves, but like a text number that you could text a question to and then you would get the answer back? I don't know, it might have just been in my
No.
area. Yeah,
No.
so you could just like text this number and be like, "Oh, like how many people are in America?" And it would
Okay.
answer back like 6 billion or whatever.
Oh, well, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, so it
In
was or you
America
could
or the
like
world? Because you definitely just said 6 billion in America.
oh, no. I got it wrong. How many are in America?
Like 330 million.
Oh, really?
Yes.
There's 6 billion people in the world though.
It's like 7 billion, but yeah, in the
That's what
world.
I meant. That's what I
Okay.
meant.
That's it. That's what I meant.
I swear the question it answered right.
Ask Jeeves was right.
Yeah,
Okay. Remember? Oh, wow.
you could also
Such a
text
throwback.
and find out like the local time the movie theater times at a local movie theater.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, because back in the day, the only way you could find out the times at the movie theater were to call the theater and a
And
recording
listen to this. Yes.
And a recording of all the times.
Why does that sound so old?
It's so antiquated.
That sounds archaic. Like you had to call.
So antiquated to think about that. The only way
gosh.
to know what times a movie was playing was to look in the newspaper
Or the yellow pages.
or to
the movie
call
theater.
or to call the movie theater and listen to a pre-recording where someone literally listed like, you know, The Lion King showing daily at, well, not The Lion King. I'm trying to think of what was The Matrix. The Matrix.
Yeah, whatever.
Showing at, 10:30, 12:30, 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 11 o'clock.
Gosh.
And then if you missed it, you're like, wow, everyone shut up.
I can't hear.
I can't hear. We're going to have to listen to this again.
Right, because it's not like it was like you had to listen to all the things.
No, you couldn't even click
you
like
couldn't
which
be like,
movie
oh,
you were interested
Lion
in.
King. No.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
You just sat there
you
and
just
listened
sat and listened to every single movie that was showing in that theater. Okay.
These kids don't know how good they have it these days.
They sure don't.
That's why I feel like there's so much about like millennials that like we're just like so grateful for all the technology and for all the things that like we're just lucky to be here.
We're just happy to be here and we think it's amazing.
Yeah.
We're not like, well, duh. Why wouldn't it? We don't have that type of
and the Gen Z, they're
mindset.
Like messing with the system and they're like, no, we need more. We need this. We're like,
right. Why doesn't it do this? It's like, it's doing amazing. Actually,
what we suffered through.
You don't understand. You could never.
Literally, like you're playing Fruit Ninja at the age of 7, and I didn't even have Snake on my phone till I was like 13.
Facts.
And I was the first generation to even have a cell phone that young.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think I had my first, what was my first cell phone?
It was like controversial that I had a phone that young.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It wasn't controversial on my end. It was more so like, oh, wow, you get the chance to have a phone. Like, this is great for safety purposes, because
that's exactly what my parents did. It was like, this wasn't for like entertainment. This wasn't for funsies. It was, you're going to a school that your sister no longer goes to. We both work.
Right.
Everyone's spread out. And 9/11 had just happened. So
and that with me, that's what it was too. 9/11 had just happened, but also I went to school like 30 minutes from home because I got bussed out to a suburban school. So I was far, and my parents couldn't always, get to me. My mom, she works like a very active job, so she's not always like at her desk, and all that type of stuff. So it was just like, this is not for play. Pick up if we call or whatever. And I don't know, it's probably freshman year. I probably had a phone in freshman year. It was freshman or sophomore. After that, I think it was like pretty standard.
Yeah. I feel like once you were in a situation where you were like, your parents needed to be able to like reach you, get to you. If you were far apart, separated, like my parents worked kind of far away.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Right.
But I would say it was definitely like post 9/11. That was like, oh no, everyone gets a cell phone.
Oh, wow. I couldn't imagine my sister had gone to high school here.
And
I wasn't far in Connecticut, but still, it was just like being here in Jersey where we're so close to the city. Like I was just like,
I mean, I could see the black smoke in the sky.
Right. And that's what Brandon was saying. That's what I'm like, oh my goodness, that must be so surreal. When I hear your stories, people from Jersey and New York, I'm just like, man.
My sister was like, we were talking about ages the other day, and I was like, I don't know how old you were, but I was this. She's like, I'm 2 years older. I'll always be just 2 more than you. 2. Like she was just like, she's like, if you were 7, then I was 9. It's like in my mind, I was like 7, 8, 9. Okay, 9.
All right, sure.
I'm like, I don't know, math. I'm just like a slightly bit slower than most.
Oh man,
it was never for me. Really?
Yeah, I love math. And it's like, I love doing like quick math in my head. Like I like multiplying stuff. I don't like using a calculator unless it's like, a crazy number.
That's like superpower to me, like mental math and all that jazz.
Yeah. I can
I
like
was better.
see if I just look up,
No,
I can be like, okay, like what's 14 times 12 or something like that. I can just look up and
I have
see.
to do like new math to figure that out. Like,
First of all, new math is not. I don't know what these kids are doing. When I watch my nieces like do their homework, I'm like, y'all are going the long way. And the teachers want them to like show
yeah,
their work and stuff. And I'm
yeah.
just like, this is silly. Can we just get to the answer faster? And she has to like draw to do division. She has to draw like 7 boxes of 5. I don't like
Oh
it at
no,
all.
no,
It's
I'm
so
okay with the
ridiculous.
division the way that it used to be. I'm good
Yeah,
with
and
the
she doesn't even or like the little symbol like when you had to put the
Yeah.
5 into 25.
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
showed her that. She was like, "What is that?"
Oh my
I was like, "So you
Lanta.
don't know that what?" She's never seen it.
Oh my God.
They gotta
It's
like
so
draw
stressful.
pictograms.
I
It's
can't.
ridiculous.
No.
My name is a palindrome.
I was just I don't know why I was looking at your name. It was because because I was editing. I could see the names of our files.
Yes.
I was like, why am I staring at her name? And just like the A and the J, like it looks like a face,
It does.
like eyes and a nose and like a smile. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God, you have such fortunate branding opportunities. Like,
Such fortunate branding
you
opportunities.
know what I mean? Like you can make a cool
Yeah.
logo out of it or whatever. Like
It's true.
I just was looking at it and I was like, wow, that's a good name. And it's AJA, but backwards forwards. Come
Backwards,
on.
forwards, come on. Any way you go, you can't get it wrong.
Did you have an easy time remembering that that's called a palindrome when you were a kid because of your name?
You know you mean like the idea of knowing what a palindrome is or
Yeah, because
something?
that name left my brain for many years
First of
after
all,
I learned it.
someone told me that in high school.
Mm.
It was middle school or high school because there was this girl named Hannah at school, and her name was a palindrome. And I was just like, "Huh." And then they were just like, "Yours too." And I didn't know what that was. I was like, "Wait, oh,
Yeah.
her name is spelled backwards the same way as well. Huh." And that's when I learned. It
Ah.
wasn't, it was just like happenstance because of Hannah. Thanks, Hannah.
Thanks, Hannah.
It wasn't like my parents were like, "Honey, your name is a palindrome." Like,
Yeah, they're like,
no.
we did that on purpose. It's a
Not at
palindrome. You'll
all.
never get confused.
Listen, I'm not gonna tell my middle name here because that's like a special exclusive thing. But my first name is easy, but my middle name, child. As a child, you had those like papers where you had the lines and the dotted line in the middle and you draw on your name in like cursive and
Yeah.
everything. I think my middle name is like 10 letters. It's a lot of letters.
What's your middle
You
name?
don't know my middle name?
No.
Okay,
10 letters.
when you're editing this, just bleep it out. My middle
Okay.
name is
That's a cool
wow.
middle name. We've cut
I
it for
know.
purposes of anonymity,
For privacy.
but yeah, for privacy reasons. She's already
Yeah.
trademarked it. You can't have it.
You can't. No one in the world. I'm like 99.5% sure there's no one in the world now who has my name, especially now with my
Oh my God.
married
No
name.
one?
No
No one in the
one.
world?
Come
Come
on,
on. No
Ellen.
way. I bet you
Think
if
of
we Googled it, we'll find someone.
I have. You don't think I have? Let me show you. Wait.
Can I tell you the first time
Oh
I
my
saw someone
gosh.
with their name
It's
Ellen
me. It's
spelled?
only me. I'm telling all these things that are coming up are me.
Yeah.
And then it says Google returned 8 results. And I am 7 of the 8 with
Wow.
my full name.
That is so funny. I love that. I love that your middle
Oh
name is
man.
longer than your first name.
My first name and my last name combined. Shout out to my parents.
That is good. That is rich. I like that a lot.
It's so rich. It really, really is. I love
That's
it.
awesome. Wait, okay, so we talked about like my accountability, my things that I
Yes.
got to this week, and then we went in a bit
Yes.
of a tangent. But I want to
Yes.
make sure that I check in with you. What did you follow through with this week?
Wow, I feel like I'm in trouble.
I'm just kidding.
What did you follow through?
It's okay. If you did
No.
nothing, that's
No,
also
I
okay.
did. I did follow through. It just was kind of heavy. Um, I followed through with my time blocking, doing a better
Yeah.
job of that.
Okay.
And I got a chance to do some of the free creative space stuff. So I
What
pulled
did you
out
do?
I colored my handy dandy tried and true coloring book for adults. And
Oh,
I spent like it wasn't a long time. I did like 30 minutes. I have to show some of my creations because they're pretty dope.
was
Um
it like was it a picture that you were coloring?
yeah, so I have this adult coloring book and it's a bunch of like abstract designs. Some are floral, some
Okay.
are like geometric. I'm working on this one right now. It's like a bunch of mandalas. I don't know how to, do you
Oh,
pronounce that
mandala.
mandalas or mandalas? Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Oh, those are cool.
Yeah, so it's but it's super intricate, right?
Yeah.
So it's not something you can like finish in one sitting because they're
Okay.
like tiny little spaces. But yeah, I kind of hammered away on that. And it was really cool. And the time blocking
Oh.
helped a whole lot.
Okay.
I know I spoke before about really doing that like brain dump at the beginning of the week. But
Yeah.
this past week I was like, no, and this week as well, like being super intentional about making those blocks of time. And in my mind, I'm so much more organized and productive. Just like
Okay.
my mind isn't just kind of like all over the place on all the things I want to do. Like it's just on these things that
Yeah.
I'm focusing on
That's
for that
good.
time. So yeah, it helped.
Did you schedule in like extra free time or like time for when things like bubble over or personal stuff just kind of like takes up
I
time?
did. I didn't
Yeah.
do my whole like back to back to back to back,
Yeah.
I definitely left some,
That's
what
great.
do you call that? What's the word I'm
Like
looking for?
like flex space
Yeah, but
for
just
free
like in
time.
between each of those time blocks, just leaving some buffer, like a buffer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
That's good.
yeah, we're making progress.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
I'm looking at figuring out because I need like resets in my day. I need
Mm.
like a transitional, okay, we were doing this. Here's a reset.
Ah,
Here's a
that's
way to
yeah,
like get me into like a different headspace or get me doing something else. Because
right.
I have a hard time just going like thing to thing to thing.
Mhm.
So that's something I'm kind of think about is like, what does the reset look like? Because it can't take that long
Right, right.
where it's like an activity in and of itself, you know?
Exactly.
Um, but yeah, I need to
Hmm.
figure out a reset.
Yeah.
So
And I hmm. That's a really good point. And I wonder if
yeah.
that's something like is it just going outside, getting fresh air, going around the complex, or
Yeah.
is it getting up, going to get coffee and, or playing a Wordle? Like, what is that?
Yeah, that might be smart. Like I usually do my Wordle and my connections at the end of the day when I'm like in
Mhm.
bed because it like unwinds me. But
Yeah.
I'm finding that I'm not like reading when I go to bed because I then like
You get
I don't
engulfed in
know.
that?
Yeah, or like I don't want to start a new book at night for some reason,
Okay.
which I like wanted to start the book and I started it with one chapter, but then I was like falling asleep. So
Mhm.
maybe what I'll do is use Wordle and connections to kind of like create some kind of a buffer, or maybe even just doing my Duolingo, like do
Yeah.
one lesson of Duolingo because I always do Duolingo at like I always do it at night so I know I don't miss it.
Okay.
Um, I always do it when I walk Olive for the last walk. But
Mhm.
then maybe what I'll do is I'll just do a Duolingo like mid-morning and that's like okay, move on to the next and then do a Duolingo again and then that's the transitional because it kind of gets your brain doing something different.
Exactly. And it gets your mind off that other thing so you can make space for the new task.
I'm going to write that down as a part of
Yeah.
my cuz today after I film some stuff later
Mhm.
this evening, I am going to reset Duolingo question mark. Okay, cool. That's not
Yeah.
a bad idea. That's not a bad idea.
Look at
Good job,
that.
us.
Good job, us.
my
Every
friend
week.
who my friend who's coaching, she said she was like, from what I've learned in all of the courses that she's taken to be certified to be able to coach another person,
Yeah.
she said like from what she's learned, it's always the person that you're coaching has the answers. You just have to
Mm.
help guide them to it.
To get to those
They
answers.
know what's best for them. You just have to help them like uncover it. And that's
Yeah.
how we came to this idea of like a blocked calendar because we talked about like what worked for me in the past. When did I feel the most like in flow and productive in a way that
Yeah.
made me feel good? And
Yeah.
that's where blocking the calendar came to. And I know we've spoken about that. But then she was like,
Right.
and I talked about how like my calendar in college was color coded by my class, and like it was very helpful. And I had academic stuff over here, and that was these colors. And then I had like extracurriculars, and that was these colors. And she was like,
Yeah.
and it just kind of flowed out naturally that I was like, oh, like if it was values based, like if I colored it based on like my values,
Mm-hmm.
and then that was how I looked at things. So instead of it just being like content,
Yeah.
because that could be the
Right.
whole day and it could be really like kind of crazy. But if
Yeah.
I looked at it as it's like content that I make for me to like to build my social and everything, and
Mm-hmm.
that's fun and that should be joyful, and it's also safety related, but then there's also
Yeah.
an authentic, but then there's also like I have to film stuff for brands. Like
Mm-hmm.
that is like I have to get that done. Like today I had to submit a self tape for a company or they wanted to just see like me on camera saying their script.
Okay.
Um, so it's like that was like priority number one. I
Mm-hmm.
like got myself ready to sit on front of the camera, did that. Then I filmed my stuff for my social. Then I got ready for doing a podcast,
Right.
So
Right.
that's like, it's kind of helping reframe.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also gotten back into using my whiteboard as a way to like take all of my to-dos out of a piece of paper and out of my head and put it on my whiteboard.
Okay.
Um,
I
and then
like
that
that.
way, and everything goes on there. Like literally
Yeah.
yesterday, I put like laundry, shower, wash my face. Like,
Sure.
I just put like, cause all the things I wanted to get done yesterday. Cause
Yeah.
like if you're washing your hair, like it takes a long, it
Ugh.
takes up time, so it was the
Tell
activity
us
of the
about it.
day,
Yes, legit. I
you
literally
know?
have like a 4-hour block
Yeah.
when it's a wash day because we.
Because you need to. It just takes up time. And then I was like, oh, I wanted to like wax my lip. I wanted to like, what else did I want to do? I wanted to wax my lip. I had that in there. And then I also wanted to try another thing. But then I was like, oh, I really want to film those things. So I
Mm-hmm.
was kind of like doing a lot in the bathroom and the showers. It's like one of those everything showers where it's just like there's just so much
Yes,
happening.
do all the things. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, okay,
An
next time I take an
everything
everything shower,
shower.
I'm going to film it because I want to film like that whole process and everything that I do.
Yeah.
But I also knew that I wanted to make a UGC video, like a branded video for the face wax that I use
Okay. Yeah.
because it's a really cool brand.
Uh-huh.
Um, so then I was kind of like, ideas were like flowing, I think, because I was like, I'm supposed to be showering right now and I'm not supposed to be doing anything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like the same thing with like doing the laundry. Like I was doing laundry, I was going down and coming up. And because it was timed, like I only have 30 minutes to do this activity because I have to
I
go
have
back and
to
get the
go,
laundry.
right,
So
take it
that
out of the
really
washer.
helped too.
It does. And that's
Was
another form of like blocking, right?
exactly. So
It
it was
is.
like a concurrent blocking that I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. So I can multitask and
Mm-hmm.
like that can also help me
Yes.
get stuff done within the larger do laundry is
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, so within every segment, like I saw a TikTok that this person was basically like, in the time it takes you to do laundry, use that whole period of time to clean your
Yeah.
home. And
Right.
that's it. You don't have to
Mm-hmm.
clean after, you don't have to clean before. It's just whatever time you have during doing laundry, that's your cleaning time. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, that makes sense. So like yesterday I ran around, I cleaned up, I put things away, I took out the trash. Like I was just doing stuff instead of like moping my way through activities. So,
Yeah, exactly. Just kind of getting through that time.
yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. I go to the laundromat because I
Yeah.
live near New York City and that is the life. Great. So anyway, what I did while my, stuff was in the laundry and the washer or the dryer, I was answering all the emails and,
Mm,
replying and doing outreach and stuff like that on my phone. But like I
that's
loved
good.
I don't know when I discovered the D&D feature, the do not disturb feature, but it is
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh my gosh, it is so perfect, especially if I'm doing like my Bible plan in the morning or if I'm doing something like at the laundry where it's like, no, I want to get these emails out or whatever, something I can just do on my phone.
Yeah.
It's perfect. I turn it off. You don't get notifications from whatever else is trying to distract you. And then when you're done, you just come back, turn it off, and everything is normal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's such a good point. And I
It's
love the idea of cleaning your house while you're laundry, you
yeah.
know. If your stuff is in, your complex or your building, that's perfect because
Yeah,
you're
so it's
already
like
at home.
I'm going to the basement because that's where our laundry is. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I go to the basement, I do it. I set a timer in the apartment when I get home, and then I have the timer go off so
Yep.
that it's like, because otherwise I would leave some shit
Yeah.
behind.
Yeah. No, seriously.
And I am like, do not touch my stuff. I don't want
Oh
people to touch my stuff. So
gosh.
I'm very on top of it to go back and get my laundry.
Absolutely. Same. I can't. I used to in college. No, not college because I didn't. Where was that? Oh, when we lived in our other apartment
Yeah.
and we had a laundry unit. It was in the complex, but we had to like walk outside to the back to get to it. I used to hate like it scared me that people
Yeah.
would go in and like take people's clothes out of the washer or the dryer and like just put them on the table. I was like,
Oh,
oh no, it
I
can't be
hated
me.
it.
So if the washer takes 30 minutes, I'm coming at minute 25 because
Yeah.
I don't want anybody like standing over the washer being like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's done. She's not here. No, no, no.
Yeah.
Because
And
I'll be
our
ready to
laundry
fight.
room is so hot. It's so hot in there. It's like easily like 15, 20 degrees hotter than outside.
Oh,
And
great.
there I walked in and there was a man sitting there waiting to like get to the machines. I was like, I know you are sitting in like stew. You're
Yeah.
dripping sweat right now. I'm like, bro, you
Not
couldn't
stew.
like literally it's disgusting. Like I drip sweat when I'm in there because it's like the
Yeah.
dryers are
The
just going,
dryers are
going, going.
going.
It's like
Yeah.
generating heat.
Of
So I'm
course.
just like, and especially in the summer, oh my God.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
it's not pleasant. But yeah, I mean, I think that like the merging of I guess the concept is like background tasks
Mhm.
with like active tasks,
Okay.
you know? And I
Yeah.
also try and I struggle, but I try to think of things that are like look at things in terms of like, what's like an immediate, what's like you know, what's like a priority now, what's something that like if I start it now, it will like the ball gets rolling and like
Mhm.
it kind of snowballs and gets better or gets bigger or like things happen with it. Like
Yeah.
the longer I wait to send the self tape in, then that ball doesn't move. Like that
Yeah.
opportunity doesn't get rolling. So like
Right,
if I
right.
just get that done immediately, like then that plate is spinning while I'm now doing like the next thing.
Something else. Yeah.
So
Yep,
I
yep.
really try and think of it in those terms. I was doing like little exclamation points, but they made me feel anxious. So I think I'm
Mm.
gonna figure out a new way to like, because I was doing like one exclamation or three if it was like
Oh, I got you.
important,
Okay.
So
Yeah, yeah,
but I looked at it yesterday on my whiteboard and I was like, oh, that makes me feel anxious. Like it's like,
yeah.
you
Mm.
have to get it done. So I need to figure out like a just a different way.
Something
Like,
else that's yeah.
yeah, like even if it's like underlined or if I put like a
Or a
one
one,
or
two,
two or
three.
three,
Yeah.
like that was yeah, because I mean, but I also think it's important to pay attention to that. Like, oh, exclamation points made me anxious. Like, why?
Mm.
You know, like, okay, good. That's a good thing to observe. It made me
Yeah.
feel weird and I didn't want to look at those things. Okay, so now I got to rethink that.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Wow.
we're just out
The
here
cycle.
trying. We're just trying. We're
We're
just
just
trying.
doing. We're just
Yeah.
doing.
I know. And I think it's tough like when you're working, hustling, like I've been thinking about this like I don't want people to worry.
Mhm.
I don't want people to like who aren't in this and who aren't like a part of this to like be worried about me
Mm.
because like I worry, like I'm stressed. Like I want to make sure that like I'm making money and I can take care of myself and that there's money in my savings and like God forbid something goes on, like, but I don't
Yeah.
want to share. I notice I like don't want to share that because I don't want people to worry about me.
Yeah.
That's two things. Because it's like,
It
why don't you want
is.
people to worry about you? Like people can worry about you. That's allowed. You're worth worrying about. But
Yeah.
also it's like, why do I feel like like hiding that? Like I don't want people to know that I'm like stressed or worried or that this isn't
Mm.
like I'm was confident to make the decision, but I'm now like anxious about like the day to day. And it's like
Yeah.
I kind of have to like sit with that and sit with the like no one would expect someone doing something completely different and
To be
entrepreneurial in
all
nature
smooth sailing.
to be all smooth sailing, not an
Right.
ounce of setback, not an ounce of worry. Like,
Right, right.
and I think that like by brave facing it and like,
Mhm.
you know, like not being like honest and being like, yeah, I'm like concerned, or like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like, you know,
Right.
I'm not like, oh, I'm concerned, like, you know, like this is it's not working. Like it's not working. It's like as much
Yeah.
as I put into it is when things start to come back to me.
Yeah.
And if I'm anxious, then I can just say like I'm anxious.
Mhm.
So I
And I
was talking to
think
my sister and she was like helping me with that.
yeah. And the beauty about it, so last week we went to our friend's soft opening for his juice bar in Jersey City. So it was,
Oh. Is that
yes,
what those
shout out.
paparazzi photos were?
Yes, indeed it was.
Guys, go check
So,
out Aja's Instagram. There were some paparazzi
oh
photos of
man,
her.
I'm gonna repost because it was a story, but I am going to
Oh,
do like a
that
repost.
deserves a feed post.
Thank you. She's my
Hundo.
social media consultant. Uh,
Hundo.
Hundo.
My God.
So yeah, I'm gonna probably do like a
I
dump
was expecting
because there
that
were
to have a
so many
Getty
things.
watermark on it.
Shout out to Moye Visuals, okay?
Hey.
Uh, but yes, we were at our friend's soft opening for his friends and family for his juice bar. Huge shout out to Kevin at Got the Juice in Jersey
I
City.
love that.
Great, delicious drinks for real. But you know, he got on the mic and was thanking everyone and you know, his close family, his aunts and cousins and all that type of stuff. They were there. And I really could sit back and like listen to him. And now knowing what that's like, I'm just like, and I think it was, yeah, it was him who said, or maybe it was his significant other. But one of them were mentioning how, you know, like it's been so many long nights and it's just a lot of work that goes into these things.
Mm,
It's not just the physical energy. And obviously he's building a brick and mortar, but there's also mental energy that goes into when
yeah.
you're not actively like working on it. And he's a, you know, full entrepreneur. So he doesn't have a 9 to 5 or anything like that. Aside from his own business, and any other ventures that he has, I'm not sure. But it's just so much that goes into it. And so I'm like over there looking like a proud little mom because I'm just like, yeah, I totally get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I imagine that's what or that's how people felt when I was coming to them in the past like
Yeah.
year and a half when I was asking all the questions to the people who
Mm,
I was looking up to that were entrepreneurial and successful.
yeah.
And that's another tip, like talk to the people who are doing the thing that you want to do, at least in some way, shape, or form, and who are
Yeah.
having, you know, success. I imagine that's how they probably looked at me, like, you know, it's going to be hard. Don't think this jump is going to be like, oh, I'm just carried by, you know, butterflies. Like there are and it's so important to know that there are ebbs and flows with it,
Yeah.
you know? And it's just like anything. No matter if you're going to work or whatever, like it's trust me, entrepreneurship is definitely a different animal, but everything has its motion. You know what I
Mm,
mean? And I think being transparent about that, which is our duty, like we're here on this podcast to share our journey. And there are definitely highs, there are lows, there are in betweens, there are times when you're, you know, really trying to figure it out. And that's a part of the journey. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean like you just said it's not working or whatever
yeah.
it is. It's just the flow state of life.
And I think, you know, the idea that like it's just like a different way of operating the entrepreneurial side and like
Mhm.
hustling for yourself. And I think that then you start to see a lot of people who go into this avenue be like, I don't ever take off. Like I kind of mentioned, like even going to San
Mm,
Diego, I wasn't like off, but I felt
right.
off, you
Yeah.
know? Um, and so just kind of paying attention to the transition for ourselves of like 9 to 5 was like you go to work, you come home, and then you're off
Yeah.
and you decompress or you have the weekend to yourself or whatever. But now transitioning to the idea of like, it's just me and it's
Mhm.
just my business. And it's like every day could be a weekend and every day can be a work day.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like figuring that out and getting outside of that, like be an employee mindset that we were basically trained into since we were kids when we were in school.
Yeah.
Like go to school 8 to 3, go to work 9 to 5, like
Mhm.
go give, and then go home and be yourself and decompress or what have you.
Right.
And I think it's It's definitely a big transition to
It's
like
one of
look at
the
your day
biggest.
differently.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest adjustments, I would say,
Yeah.
in switching to entrepreneurial mode because you have to unlearn so much
Mhm.
stuff that you've been conditioned to learn ever since you could do
Yeah.
anything. So yeah, and it's important, like you mentioned, like even your San Diego trip. And earlier this year, I took a trip for my birthday to
Yeah.
Cabo, and I was like, I'm not going to do anything that's work related, like
Yeah.
whatever. And that's important to take that time and to know yourself. Like when you feel like you're reaching that point of like, whether it's burnout or just overwhelm or whatever it might
Yeah.
be, you have to know and have like safeguards in place to be like, okay, when I go to San Diego or Florida or Cabo, whatever it is, I'm going to take, maybe on that 7-day trip, 3 days, I'll do a little bit of, email, whatever that might be for you. But the
Yeah.
rest of it, like unplug and just be, and
Exactly.
allow because otherwise you're going to come back and you're not going to feel like, oh, okay, I was in a different locale, but
It
I didn't
didn't
really
feel any
stop.
different.
Yeah.
And I didn't stop and I wasn't present. Like
Right. Right.
you start to see that a lot more. Like I remember going home when I was working my job, when I go
Mhm.
back east, and what that felt like as opposed to
Mhm.
this year when I went back in August and then I went back again in like November and December. I was so different.
Mhm.
I was so different. I was so much happier, one, but I was
Right.
also just so much more present and
Mhm.
so much more like chill. And
Yeah.
so now, and I went back in August and I had to film some stuff and I filmed like, a Sephora haul and then I filmed something for a brand I was working with
Oh.
and I still did stuff, you know what I mean? I still was able to do
Yeah.
my work, but
Mhm.
like it just felt so much different
Yeah.
because it was like my life was happening all around me and it wasn't like I was fitting my life into the margins of the day.
Yes,
And that's
exactly.
like the biggest thing I feel like I'm like and that's why safety, like I think as a value keeps coming back to me of like,
Mhm.
I want to live my life the way I want to live my life. And I don't want to be relegated to after 5 o'clock. I
On
don't
my
want to be
lunch break.
relegated to the weekends. I don't
Yeah.
want that for myself. It always felt like I was wearing like a shoe that didn't fit.
Mhm. Of course.
So I feel
Yeah.
like now it's like it's important and that's the thing that's the thing I'm fighting for, right? Like this is the thing we're fighting for. Like we are really like in
Right.
it and I don't want to
Yeah.
make it like, battle or like violent sounding, but like we are really
We're
like,
in the trenches
we're really hustling for ourselves to be able to live the life that like we want to be
that we
living.
envision.
I love
Exactly.
living where I live. I love going to the beach every day. I love walking off. I love the peace that I have on a daily basis. Like I am fighting to maintain and defend that as my existence. And that's
Yeah.
how I feel like I need to kind of like turn on and like plug into the like all this hustle is so I can live the life I want and I deserve.
Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
I want to go get my eyelashes permed
What?
and I want to have money coming in where I can do more shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, I can film it and it can be content, but I'm also like I just want that to be a part of my day to day. Like I want to go back to getting like my nails and my toes done on a more consistent
Mm.
basis because that's something
Yeah.
I'm saving money on right now.
Right, right.
But I'm like I want to be doing that again. I want to get like monthly massages like I used to.
Exact.
So like
Right, right.
if those are the things I want, if these are the luxuries, the mini luxuries that
I
I
can
want in
work
my
for
life,
it.
then
Yeah.
I need to be hustling for that
Yeah,
because if that's what I
exactly.
want, then that's what I need to do,
Right, exactly. And it's that
you
much
know?
sweeter because now it's a different type of hustle. It's a different type of way that I've earned the things that I want and desire in my life, you know?
Yeah.
It feels that much greater.
Yeah,
So,
like I was making all this money and I wasn't even like doing all the stuff I wanted to do. Like I was just kind of like making it
yeah.
and then like hanging on for dear life on the margins because I was just like
Mhm.
so spent. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, if I could be making that kind of money, but I'm like feeling the way I feel right now,
Mhm.
oh my gosh.
Listen.
Like life would be amazing.
Right, right.
So
Exactly.
that's the goal, is to like,
Mhm.
be in the hustle, but like be
Mhm.
really like intentional and clear, and just
Right.
know that all this block scheduling, all this
Yes.
planning, all
Right.
this multitasking is like there's a point and a purpose and enjoying.
Yeah.
I mean, I also think like, it's like enjoy the journey is really a
For
big part of it.
sure. It's a huge part, and that's what I was gonna mention too. I think a big part of, at least in my experience, a big part of me being now almost like 6 months into entrepreneurship
Yeah.
is remembering those things that we talked about. Like, I was so excited before I left corporate to have that freedom and flexibility of,
Mm,
living my life 100% of the time,
yeah.
And when I take a step back and not dwell on it or anything, but just like literally just think about that and be like, I'm literally living that now. It makes me so much more grateful,
Yeah.
and I'm more excited and hopeful, and that gives me like that push or whatever, that extra push, to keep going and to keep grinding, to keep hustling or whatever in purpose, not just for
Yeah.
the sake of hustling and grinding to get a dollar, but for purpose. So, it's mindfulness too, and that's
Yeah.
what makes everything even more satisfying and gratifying.
It's
So,
it's definitely it's definitely like, and also like not biting off too much, not overwhelming yourself.
yeah.
I'm trying to think about that, and like, all these things I want to do. I'm like, the site has to be done. My website has to be done first, because I need to be able to send that to people. You need to be able to submit
Mhm.
a portfolio to people, right? So I'm like, I am like putting an appropriate amount of pressure on myself, because there's so much I want to do, and I'm like ready to run, and I'm ready to hustle. And it's like
Yeah.
that site must be done so I can do those things.
Right.
So I can put myself out there, so I can be available.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
And that takes knowing yourself and knowing when you can handle that extra amount of pressure you're putting
mm,
on yourself, you know? So the point where
yeah,
it's like it's stretching you, but it's not stressing you,
exactly.
So,
And I don't need like the after work, 7 to 10,
yeah.
because my day isn't stressful the way that it was. So I'm
Mhm.
working on reincorporating, like when I would do my show 4 years ago now at this point.
Yeah.
When I would do my
Wow.
show, I would come home from work, have dinner, like watch like a little bit of something on TV, and then I would
Mhm.
go in my room and I would edit for like 2 nights in a row.
Yeah.
I would edit, and then I would like work on publishing and getting all the assets ready the next night, and then I would publish on Fridays. I would literally bring my laptop to my job and I would have it like
Off to the side.
uploading.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
In my drawer. I had
Yeah.
like a drawer of, whatever next to me, and I had a big drawer. I put my laptop and my external hard drive and everything like in the drawer,
Mhm.
and have that, because the file would take a long time
It's
to
so
load up
big.
onto YouTube, and I
Yeah.
would want it to be up at a certain time. So
Mhm. And we don't
this
have
is
time
for
to wait.
no, this was a long time ago. So this was
Yeah.
like I was just like doing it at the same time. So I would be working, and then in my drawer would be my laptop
It's uploading over
uploading to
there.
YouTube. And sometimes I would just
Oh,
have my
man.
laptop in front of me. People would be like,
Hmm.
"What is
Just
that?"
keep moving. Keep moving.
I'd be like, "It's work related, I swear."
Right. Absolutely. I
Oh my
love
god.
it. Well,
So that's the name of the game.
it is. And
Just
this,
keep hustling.
keep doing it. Know that it all flows and it goes. And yeah, you just roll with
And
it.
give yourself time if you need to give yourself time.
Yes, for
That's what I
sure. Because it's
felt.
definitely an adjustment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Give yourself grace. My God, we've been trained to be employees
Grace.
for our whole lives.
Right. And you are
Like,
jumping ship.
yeah,
Right. So,
so, and I know a lot of people like do the side hustle for a really long time. And then like the
mhm.
side hustle's so successful, they need to leave their job. And that's a great way to go about doing this.
Mhm.
But that's not everybody's journey. And not everybody has the benefit of really being able to do both at the same time.
Mhm.
So I think
Yeah.
that for people that like are building their business up after leaving their job,
Mhm.
that's a different, like, that genuinely is like, I feel like there's a different bucket
It's
of
2
people,
different tracks. Yeah,
and it's tough.
absolutely.
It's not the easier. It's, you're not jumping from one thing to another thing that's like secure. You're jumping to something that's like, it's in its
There's no floor.
infancy. Exactly. And it's
Yeah.
scary,
Mhm.
but it's like, you need to do it because it's going to take so much that you can't, and you didn't have it in you to do it when you were working. So you just have
Mhm.
to, you got to
Mm.
jump.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's, I think, what's different and unique kind of about like our stories is that we had things, we had it, but it wasn't like this. It wasn't like we were selling stuff on Etsy and the volume of the work was just to the, but you know what I mean? Like a lot of people
Yeah.
are like having clients on the side and the volume of the clients was, and the money you were making over here was
Mhm.
outweighing the 9 to 5 that you had. So it's time to leave that and I'm going to go do this. It's like,
Mhm.
that's not our story necessarily, but
Necessarily.
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's
Yeah.
not like we had this like fully fleshed out business, money coming in.
Mhm.
I'm just going to go do that full time. It's like we're having to build something.
Mhm.
We're working to create something bigger. And I don't know, it's a little bit scarier in my mind.
Yeah. I mean, and I know like we have similarities and differences in ours. I feel like to a certain extent I had a little bit of that. I was
Yeah.
building my music business from, let's say, like September
Well, yeah, I was
2022
going to say you've been going at
till,
that longer. Yeah.
yeah, in music in
Yeah.
general for sure, but actively
Oh
like
yeah.
working a plan to leave my job started from
Yeah.
like September 2022 until the time that I actually left, which was November 23.
Yeah.
So, there was that. But again, even I did have that point where it was just like, two things. One, I didn't want to continue doing it as a side thing because
Mm,
it was a lot. I'm working a full 9 to 5 with like all these growth opportunities there and, more being asked of me there. But then I'm also wanting to give 125% in my music business, which is where I
yeah.
get, my fulfillment and all of that type of stuff. And it
Yeah.
was like, okay, the more that I do this on the side and the volume keeps increasing, I'm I'm losing steam, or I could see myself losing steam because it's a lot.
Mm,
Like a gig
yeah.
is not just the 2 hours that you perform or the 30 minutes that you perform. It's all of the preparation and all of that type of stuff. So there was that. But it's also about making sure that you leave space. So like for me, from September 2022 to November 2023, it was an on the side thing. But
Mm,
even though it was to the point where it's like, okay, well, this is not making sense anymore. Like I can't be chasing two rabbits at the same time. Like I need to let go. And for
yeah.
me, I'm super spiritual. So I prayed about that. It wasn't just like me in my own mind, like making the jump. I was like, okay, God, tell me. And I
Yeah.
took a long time, to be honest. Like in all honesty, I was disobedient for a long time. I had too
Yeah.
many, I had too many signs. Okay. But even after you make the leap, whether it's this like super, the volume was so crazy that it didn't make sense anymore for me to do this. No matter what it is, once you finally make that transition to like, this is the thing, this is the full time, whatever, I don't care what you do. There are always going to be these newfound obstacles, struggles, changes, adjustments, transitions, all of that you're going to
Mm,
have to go through because you're now giving your all to it. You've taken away, whatever safety net or, surplus that you had.
yeah.
And now you're focusing all of your energy and you're seeing all of these things that you weren't able to see before because you didn't have 100% of yourself to actually look at it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So whether or not you go the track A where you build something on the side and to the point where it makes no more sense or to the point where you physically can't, do it on the side, or B, you just take the leap and you didn't think about it or whatever. No matter which way you go, there's going to be the things. you
Yeah.
know? It's
Yeah.
just it just is how it is. And I think that's the part that requires the faith. Um it's not going, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be
Yeah.
something where it's like, "Oh, I walked into it and everything was just built and it was perfect and everything was on an upward trajectory the entire time.
I can't.
First of all, we don't like you.
No.
Right. That's the devil. So like what? So no.
Oh my God, that's so funny. You know, like when an actor like gets interviewed and they're like, "Oh, like how did you get your start?" And they're like, "I don't know, someone just like walked up to me and like asked if I wanted to be in this thing, and it kind of just took off from there." The people who say that, I'm like, I hate you.
You're lying. You're not telling us something.
No, because I mean, yes, I'm sure. Yes, there are people who are discovered and who kind of just like it starts to unfold in front of them, and that's fantastic. But then there's also like the people who are like, like a Mark Ruffalo, who will tell a story about like bartending in LA for like 5 years on pennies, like, and then eventually stuff started to take off for him, you know? And it's like, yeah, I honestly like, I appreciate that.
It's relatable, you know, because people, and listen, even the person, and I feel like the people who give that story, and no shade to them, but like, okay, if you were discovered or whatever, there was something, I know, after that discovery, you know, that you had to overcome or whatever. It's like, okay, I got discovered, but it wasn't what I thought, you know, like something, because it's just, that ain't life.
I don't know. Maybe they don't want us to dig too much into their past. So they just don't. Like, I got discovered and that happened.
And I'm here and you like me now. So, so don't ask anything else.
Yeah, that's so true. Actually, now that we were talking about it, I'm like, wait a second. Maybe that's actually a little bit more like, because if Mark Ruffalo says he worked at a bar, then like you need to fact check that if you're the journalist. But if the person's just like, yeah, they just found me in a mall and then boom. There's nothing to fact check.
Something's amiss here. Okay.
Doesn't smell right. Smell right.
Not at all. Were you at one of those parties? I don't know. Like,
yeah, no, exactly. Like at one of those like open call castings.
Something.
The line at the mall. They're like, "Oh, I just got cast at the mall." It's like, "Oh no, you were standing in line all day, like
all day,
an American Idol audition."
And that was your hustle. That was your grind. You skipped work that day. You called out sick. You know?
I swear on a dream. When I was in college, I was like, oh, the way I'm going to jumpstart like my world of entertainment is I'm going to go on Big Brother. Like I'm going to go on Big Brother and I'm going to get discovered on Big Brother. And like, swear to God, to this day, my cousin still sends me the listings of when they're auditioning.
That show still exists?
Girl, I watch it every year.
What? Oh,
I am a Big Brother.
So what are you doing?
Fan. What do you mean? What are you doing?
You don't want to get on Big Brother anymore? Is that
It's not really
ship
a
has
platform.
sailed?
Yeah, it doesn't really create, like, people don't pay attention to Big Brother, you know?
Too much of a splash, except for you.
Yeah.
You're paying attention.
Yeah, except for me. I'm a big fan.
And people are obviously watching.
I should audition just for the sake of it, to be like, I auditioned for Big Brother.
You should. And then you can tell the story, like, ever since I was 15 or however old you were.
Yeah.
And girl, listen, people are watching. For them to still be making new seasons, like,
yeah. Oh my God. It's like, it's such like a culture and a community within itself. Like there's so much
that is like
following. Well, it's just so insider. Like there's so many little things I could say that if you were a Big Brother fan, you'd be like right with me. And I would say this and you'd be like, yes. But like if I said that right now,
and I would be like,
you'd be like, it's whoop, right over the head.
It's over there. And I'm sure, because I've never seen that show. But yeah, it has like a cult following where if you know, you know, and if you don't,
exactly. If you know, you know. When you know, you know.
Okay, all right. Well, and on that note.
And on that flat note.
Literally that note.
That was me, guys. Just in case anyone was wondering, I was singing.
Yes, that was our intro and outro. Soloist, vocalist.
I love how the person that's like sings the most on this podcast is not the singer.
No,
she doesn't give that away for free.
No, ew. No. Oh man, it has been a pleasure today. to
Yes, it
share with
has.
y'all. We've gone through the gamut of things. How
Oh,
Ellen's an
yes.
influencer and she's literally building her dream before our eyes.
Shout out Poppi.
Yes, Poppi and all the other things. And we've gone through all of the general tips, tricks of the trade that we're experiencing thus far in our journeys. We hope it helps you. We have so
Yes.
much more of that. And we did some accountability check-ins today. So it's been a ride, as is the entrepreneurial journey.
So true. So true.
Yes. So
It really is. Real time. We're doing this in real time.
real
So
time. That's the
you're with
beauty in
us.
it. Yeah. You guys can say you were our day ones. Okay.
Uh-huh.
With us from the start. Okay.
100%.
So
Let's get that second income when we start launching merch.
just wait on it. Okay. Because it's coming.
Truly, 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 truly.
No, seriously.
I love it. All
Wow.
right. Love ya. This has
Love you
been
guys.
adorable. Follow us on all social media, and we will see you and talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.
The Regents Podcast. The Regents Podcast.